Shots in the Dark contains graphic depictions of events that may not be suitable for all listeners. We encourage all of our listeners to be open-minded and engage in dialogue with us through any of our social media accounts or email.
Wait, did I forget how life works? Oh my god, am I having a stroke? Command A. Is it Control A? Oh, no, I fucked up. Hi, and welcome to Shots in the Dark. I'm Ty.
I'm Whitney. And we were just discussing...
It was a great show.
And we're done now. We were just discussing how Ty went to a birthday party and a gentleman who was a bit off had gotten into a pretty bad accident where he hit his head, and the first thing he thought was serial killer bingo, which makes me so happy.
Yeah, he was telling the story about his ski accident at the table, and the only thing I could think, and I also was several double gin and tonics in, I was just like, but what's your relationship like with your parents?
Like, are you like weirdly close with your mother?
Daddy
Were you
issues.
social?
Yeah. I hope you're nice to animals.
Yeah. I'm very excited. I'm in this dress. It's really nice outside. I was in my hammock for a little bit. I saw a woman put her hands inside of her pants to adjust her shorts. It's been an exciting day.
Yeah, that was I was upset I didn't get to see it because that would have been the highlight of my day.
I was talking to somebody about it, and I was like, well, this is why I don't go out in public very often. And they said, oh, I would have left. And I said, no, I was frozen in place because I didn't know what to do.
Because you were in the checkout line at Aldi, and all I can think is, like, was she, like, readjusting stolen items?
No, she was returning pillows and then was getting fussy with the lady who was like, well, did you want to shop and then come back and then we can return them as you're doing your shopping? So it's like one trip. And she was just like, agog that this woman would dare to ask her these questions. It was like 40 and up shorts on those. So like
Mom
they didn't,
shorts.
Yeah, they weren't hiding anything.
Yep.
So you want to do this shot?
I would love to take our shots.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. You're right. It was a good call to shake it. You don't look like you liked that.
It wasn't a good call. It's just not a good call, singularly. I should have made it into something, but I got lazy.
Yeah, but think of it this way. If we were making something fancy, we would probably not be recording yet.
Also, if we were making something fancy, we would not probably be us as humans, because neither of us is a fancy bitch.
That is very true. I like to pretend sometimes.
Yeah.
So many boxes of wine. Just make a tower.
You know what? I'm not mad at box wine.
It's better for the environment, too, isn't it?
Probably not. There's a bunch of plastic.
I wish that you would have just let me go on thinking it was better for the environment.
I'm sorry. But you can't pull the bag out of a box or of a bottle of wine and slap it and drink it aggressively at music festivals, so...
I once had somebody tell me, so it was our good friend, California, and last time we all got together, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this will be a lot of fun, because we were going to, like, a BYOB place.
Yeah.
It was, like, a restaurant, and I was like, cool, like, I'll go and pick up some wine, because all of us ladies, we like wine,
yeah.
And I was like, just tell me what you like, and I'll go get a box. And she was like, oh, honey, no, I'm better than that.
Oh, no, you're not, though.
And that's exactly what I thought, as I was like, I don't think that a couple bottles of Barefoot makes you better than that.
Yeah, Barefoot is worse than box wine. Hot take, but true.
Although now Barefoot makes box wine.
Which is worse, I'm sure. That's coming from, like, I used to drink those golden gallons because my family always has the Carlo Rossi ones.
Yeah, I know.
And they have a real hard heart. Like, it's a hard spot in my heart. And I still, every once in a while, when I go over to visit them, will enjoy myself a glass of Paisano because that's my family's favorite of the Carlo Rossi variety.
Back in the day, when Chevy and I were, I think maybe we were 20 or 21, it was me and Chevy and our one friend Aileen, and we had like quite decided one night that it was like a mission to finish one of those jugs of Carlo Rossi,
it's
like
hard.
between the three of us.
It's hard.
Well, we did it.
I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's hard to do that because there's so much sugar in there.
There is so much sugar in there, and we felt awful in the morning.
Oh, I'm sure.
And we were like, we need coffee. And then we finally got to Starbucks, but we got there 30 minutes before they opened.
Yeah.
So we waited in the parking lot for them to open, and then as soon as the person unlocked the door, we were already outside, like, clawing at them to
like,
let
help,
us in.
Help.
Yeah, we're terrible people.
The last time I did that, I was leaving your house to come back here. The app told me that they were open sooner, so I just, like, pre-ordered.
Yeah.
And was just gonna go home and just, like, napsy-poo, because I think I only slept an hour or something at your house. And then the person had opened the door, and then, of course, I bum rush in, because I was like, well, this is ridiculous. I've been here for, like, a half hour. Is someone that I used to play rugby with. And then I had a real awkward conversation being like, I don't know why I'm here either.
So, do you think that we should just dive right on into some true crime?
I mean, I would like it very much if we could.
Okay. Yay, murder!
Murder!
Ooh, so before I start my story, there is a bit of a trigger warning.
Oh, perfect.
It's really important to let people know, like, if you are sensitive to sexual assault, it's not a huge element of the story, but it is going to become a part of it at one point. If you don't like that and that makes you feel icky, then just fast forward to the paranormal part, which hopefully will not have that as an element at all.
It won't have sexual assault, but it's really aggressive.
Aside from that, this person is a complete asshole, but it's not as graphic or, you know, we're not going to get into a whole lot of really brutal details like we have in the past. So rest assured.
Mine has brutal details.
Okay. Okay.
This is going to be a sad episode. Oh, no.
Oh, and then I also just want to say ahead of time, too, that because this is a much more recent case, I'm going to try to go about it being as sensitive as possible.
Good. All right, so tell me your horrible story before I tell you mine.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about Todd Kohlhepp.
Okay.
Do you know about this?
I'm not sure yet. I never know, and then I'm like, oh, no.
Okay. Well, he was caught in 2016. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Todd Kohlhepp was born on March 7th, 1971 in Florida, but he was actually raised in South Carolina and in Georgia for a period of time.
Okay.
Now, both of his parents were divorced when he was really young. He was only like 2 years old. And then his mother, who got custody of him, she remarried just the next year. So, I mean, you know, people do that. It's fine.
Yeah.
So after she had remarried, he didn't have a great relationship with his stepfather.
Okay.
And
a lot of people don't.
Yeah, the two of them butted heads so much that it made him really not want to live there with them anymore, and he wanted to go live with his biological father.
Right, which happens a lot.
When he was a kid, most reports say that he was kind of an asshole.
Oh, perfect. Neat.
When he was younger and he was in nursery school, he'd get really aggressive towards other children. He would take their belongings and destroy them. When he was just 9 years old, they had him undergo some counseling to see like what was going on with him. Something else that really worried people was that he was not nice to animals.
Great. So we've got bingo one.
So, and that upsets me because I love animals so much. But he apparently had shot a dog a whole bunch of times with a BB gun.
Why?
And then he also killed a goldfish with Clorox. And
why?
Those are just a couple of examples. He eventually wound up spending 3.5 months in a Georgia psychiatric hospital as an inpatient because of his inability to assimilate into school with all the other kids and get along with them, and because his temper was so explosive that it was out of control. So, like, as a child.
Yeah, no kidding, his temper was out of control.
So, eventually, in 1983, which I believe that would have made him, at this point, 12 years old, he did go and live with his biological father in Arizona. But he only got sent to live there that year because his mother and stepfather had finally split apart from each other. So, stepfather, who he had the bad relationship with, and his mom, like, boom, done deal, not together anymore. And then all of a sudden the mom is like, okay, well, you can go live with your dad now.
Which she'd been asking to do when he was with the stepfather still.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, you know, it's like he wanted to go so badly. And I don't know for sure whether or not the two of them splitting was what made her really want to send him away. But, and this is purely speculation, I'm wondering maybe if because he was such a handful and he was such a troubled kid.
That she couldn't feel confident that she could raise him correctly. I got it.
Especially, you know, and now she's all on her own, and maybe she thought that, you know, his dad would have better luck.
Right. Or because he wanted to be there so badly, maybe he would listen to his father more. That sucks.
So he goes and he lives with his dad, and while he's there, he starts picking up a hobby of his father's, which is collecting weapons.
Oh, good. Yeah, good. Sure.
His father also taught him, quote, how to blow things up and make bombs.
I learned that on my own, to be honest.
I went to Catholic school. That was like kindergarten, okay?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that's where I learned how to blow things up, was when I was in Catholic school.
So even despite him wanting to go live with his dad as much as he did, now he's there and they're sharing a lot of these similar interests, his relationship with his father started to deteriorate.
Would you say it's incendiary?
I wouldn't say it's incendiary, but it started to deteriorate. I see what you did and I really appreciate it. I just feel like that deserves a little moment of appreciation. But the relationship started to deteriorate because his father had a whole bunch of girlfriends. And I don't know that they were at the same time, but it was pretty, like, consecutive from what I understand. And he was just, like, way more interested.
So he's living bachelor life.
Yeah, he was just way more interested in spending time with his ladies and not really paying much attention to his son.
Which is also pretty common.
Yeah, and, it drove them apart a little bit.
Common from both parents, not just specifically dads.
So once that starts happening and they start growing apart, he expresses a strong desire to return to living with his mother.
Okay.
And
because he's like, oh, well, this didn't work out. Maybe I'll go back and run amok there.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's like he was just like really pissed at his dad, or maybe it was one of those things where he thought it was going to be different when he got there and it just wasn't. And he wanted to go back to what he knew before, which, maybe he was a little bit more comfortable with.
Yeah, grass is always greener, right?
Mm-hmm. And he had kept telling both of his parents that he wanted to do this, and his mother apparently kept making excuses to, like, extend his time with his father. And
yeah, because she's like, well, he now knows how to use weaponry and blow things up. Maybe not. Maybe not this.
You can keep that.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean our son.
I don't quite know what to do with this. Holy cow.
Yeah, he was an asshole.
Why? You, like, stopped. You stopped. Yeah, he was an asshole.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. Right? So November 25th of 1986, he's only 15 years old, and he kidnaps a 14-year-old girl in Tempe, Arizona.
Why? Also, why Tempe?
Mm-hmm. So he kidnaps her, holds her at gunpoint. He brings her back home. He ties her up. He tapes up her mouth.
No.
And, of course, he goes ahead and does what I'm sure you can imagine.
Perfect. This boy is obviously a good human.
I hate him.
No kidding.
And then afterwards, he walks her home. And then he tells her that if she goes and tells anybody about what happened, he's going to kill all of her younger siblings.
Which
and
she
to keep
would
her mouth shut.
Totally believe if he held her at gunpoint to begin with.
It's
and
terrifying.
Then tied her up.
And being a 14-year-old too, like, oh my God.
And you believe that whatever people say is, like, legit true. Mm-hmm. At 14, I remember believing anything anyone told me, and I was like, oh, that's weird. That doesn't seem right. Mm-hmm. It's like, I can't even imagine how horrifying it was for her at the time.
Luckily, she did not keep her mouth shut, and she did talk about it, and he wound up getting charged with kidnapping, sexual assault, and committing a dangerous crime against children.
Good. Other random thought, if at any point in time you are a victim of sexual abuse, please go to friends, family, anyone. Always talk about it. Even if you think that they're not going to be receptive to it, find someone that will be. Absolutely.
And if you need somebody anonymous to talk to, the RAIN Foundation, they do amazing work. They have a 24-hour hotline. It's completely free.
Yeah.
They can help you. And that's RAIN. That's RAINN.
Right. Sorry. Coming from a human that has had these particular situations happen in my life.
Mm-hmm. And actually, it's really interesting that you said that and that we just had that conversation and brought that up, because I was on their website last night looking for ways to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you have some money that you want to donate, they're a really great group to donate to.
Yeah, no kidding.
So he winds up pleading guilty to the kidnapping charge, and the other charges are dropped because plea arrangements and everything, and that's in 1987 that he does that. So he gets sentenced to 15 years in prison.
Good.
And he also now has to be registered as a sex offender.
Good.
Yes. According to some court records, While he was in prison, they did find out that he had undiagnosed borderline personality